So yeah, welcome back, guys. Wicked guest today. He's been on before. He's actually our first repeat guest we've got on. So yeah, it's actually his honor, not our honor, I think, because we're kind of, it's a big platform and that.
Well, it's my honor.
It's your honor.
I had to really beg to get that.
He did. He's like, listen, my album success hinges on this interview.
I turned up at
your
John's
number one
door.
fan was really hard to convince.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know, guys.
So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, you've seen it in the title, you know who's on, and he's got an album out now, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot. But yeah, it's Halogenix.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So tell us about your album. So just give us a rundown of the whole
So
album.
passions, let's go.
Passions. But we'll start off by saying, well done on releasing
Thank
a
you.
first solo. Yeah, first solo album, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mad.
How many years into the game?
Since first release, 13.
Wow.
Damn.
Making beats nearly 20. So long in the tooth.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, we've all listened to the album, I hope.
Yeah.
We have. We made sure.
It's over.
I was like, listen to the.
I knew that's what I was supposed to do.
yeah. I feel, well, everyone can give their opinion, but yeah, fantastic album, I thought.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed, actually.
Bravo.
Really enjoyed the listening party. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So for
It was fun.
those who aren't aware, Lawrence did a kind of like a virtual listening party, wasn't it?
Yeah.
On
In lieu of an
Bandcamp.
actual rave.
Yeah. But it was sick though, man. It's
Yeah.
like, so Bandcamp have this like facility where you can basically like live stream songs. There's a chat window, people can ask questions. Yeah, it's like a nice sort of vibe.
It plays it all at the same time for everyone. They
Yeah.
log in
Oh,
and then
sick.
like at your specified time, it just starts playing from top to bottom.
Yeah.
No, you can't pause it. You can't go back, forward, whatever. And then once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
It was nice. And there's a few DJs were in there.
And then like if you buy it, comes up. Blah blah
Oh,
blah.
yeah,
There's a
that
little
was,
button.
yeah,
Oh,
that,
rate
that
that.
was really cool.
That's really
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who wants to do like a listening party, that might be the way for
I think
it.
we had nearly 200 people in there at one point.
Flipping heck.
sick.
Some of the
really
comments
good.
as well were really sweet, man.
Yeah,
Like,
people feeling it, which is really nice.
yeah, there was one girl that was like, I can't remember what her name was, but yeah.
Oh, Jessie.
Jessie M.
Yeah.
That was it. Big up Jessie M.
Big up
man.
Jessie.
Yeah, Jessie M.
She
said
was feeling it.
Yeah, she was really feeling it. She said some amazing stuff. Yeah, it was good to see. It was also nice to see, because obviously I'd heard the album, so I kind of knew the tracks and what was coming. It was also nice to see the reaction of people that hadn't heard the singles, so like the stuff in between, and kind of the reaction that was getting. That must have been quite a...
Yeah, because the singles that I released were the first 3. So then obviously the first 3 tracks played and people were like, all right, yeah, cool. And then track 4 started and it was like, oh, okay, new stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and I track listed it out so that it was kind of spaced out, like slower tempo drum bass. And so, yeah, watching everyone kind of go through it. And it was, I mean, it's all very, the style is very similar, but it kind of goes on a bit of a journey. So, but yeah, it's always nice to hear people reacting to your stuff or see them reacting to your stuff.
It definitely feels like it's like a really coherent, like we had Marcus on before and we were talking about the art of writing an album and how, it's not just supposed to be 12 singles or whatever, just like slammed together.
Yeah.
Like you've definitely written like a very coherent body of work and like not to be cheesy, but a story that goes from start to finish.
Well, they all relate to each other. I think they were all written with a similar mood in mind, and rather than just because I write loads of different things, I write dance floor things, 140, like techie, minimal, whatever. And I was like, rather than put a bunch of those tunes together and try and mash them together somehow. Obviously, I love writing soulful stuff, so I'd had a bunch of it already, and I was like, when's the last time I listened to just a pure soulful album from somebody that's known for doing different things? The releases are always kind of, I don't know. People don't really release albums anymore. More.
People don't re-release albums, and like you said, people who do make albums and make multiple styles with album always incorporate those different styles in the album. And that was actually going to be one of the questions, like, what was well, you kind of said it already, but like, I guess for me, if I'd known you were writing now without hearing any of it, I would have expected, some of the techier stuff as well. Because like, you can do multiple styles very, very well.
I had a few people message me being like, or I'd seen comments of people saying, I was expecting, a Sheller or whatever.
Yeah.
Something more kind of gutter. But I think people like it.
And that was the original kind of, sorry, Rich, I was just going to say that was the original plan from the whole time, just write a soulful album, or did it just kind of naturally progress into that?
In COVID, without clubs, I was just writing, musical stuff. Because that's what was exciting me. And non-drum and bass too. And then I realised that I had such a massive amount of tunes to go through that I thought, let me just try and... What would happen? Like, I've never written an album by myself before, so what would that look like? I pieced together tracks, and then I was like, actually, this is kind of starting to form something. I can see a picture and a journey, and visualize what it might look like and stuff like that. And then years went by, and it just evolved. And I sat on it, and I wasn't sure about it, and I put out singles, and I started the label, and I put out an EP, and so all this stuff was kind of existed in the same pool.
Yeah,
the Lost Friends thing, like the thing with Liam and all that, like they existed in the same body of tunes that I had, and then I've just thought, fuck it, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
They're there. I'd pulled a bunch of stuff, old Ivy Lab stuff that had never been released that I'd written, and little ideas, and I'd written new stuff. And then by the time I actually figured out that I wanted to do the album, I wrote like 5 or 6 new things, which ended up on there. So from writing the first tunes and having that folder on my computer to eventually releasing it, just completely changed and evolved into something different. But I think that was the thing I enjoyed the most. It was like coming up with the idea and then just seeing where it went. That kind of ties into the name and passions. And
I was going to ask the name before that. I was just going to say, because I remember during the listening party, I think you said it when I can't remember which tune it was specifically, but I remember you said like this tune's like 9 years old or something.
Peng.
That was it, yeah. Peng.
Oh, that's my favourite one on the album.
Peng's 9 years old.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
That's sick.
Yeah.
So, it sounds so fresh as well.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is I don't know too many artists that could have a song 9 years old that they put on their first album. To be honest,
Do you know what's interesting about that? The last tune on my album was 8 years old. Yeah, and it seems like it's a similar approach, which is really beautiful to hear, because how cohesive it is as a result of that, I would imagine.
Well, that tune was a key, like a cornerstone of the album, because I had so much emotional connection to that song, just because I loved the tonality and the mood of it, and it was always in whatever permutation of playlist I made. That tune was always in there, and so a lot of it kind of revolved around that track, because for me it summed up how I like to write music. The phrasing of it, the tone, everything about that track just kind of excited me, and I'd wanted to release it ages before, but it didn't.
It's hard to release a tune like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
on its own,
I needed it to be part of something bigger. It didn't really stand up by itself because it was a contextual track, and then eventually, it just kind of slotted perfectly right. I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
That's honestly so sick, because like mine was that my album was born from the fact that I was like, that track is my album track.
Yeah.
And I like held on to
I just got to write the rest of it now.
That's it. And it's like, it's funny how when you are making an album, the thought process is so different. And it seems like that's something that you really like were going through and like put a lot of like.
Well, I think you can explore a lot of different ideas. If you're doing a single or an EP,
It's impact, isn't it?
it has to be impact, has to be accessibility. People have to play it for you to get the gigs and blah, 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 get the streams, whatever. Whereas an album, for me anyway, I gave myself a bit more license to be what's the word? To be just do it because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a word I can't remember.
Also, though, I feel like when you work on an album like that, it makes it more of like a listening piece and something that people will go back to, because it's a vibe and a journey. Like as soon as he mentioned that at the start, all I was thinking about the COVID thing was your album, and how yours was a listening piece as well. And it's like that was your debut album. like really I threw a couple of like harder tunes on my album, which isn't like my forte, and actually maybe they don't sit so well as like a whole like sort of soulful liquid, you know, like sort of more emotional vibe would. I was still really happy with it, and I'm not you know taken away from that in that example, but I guess it's nice when you're just like, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and if I want it to be soulful and I want it to be liquid the whole way through, you're not there to please anyone.
No.
And that's the complete and utter beauty of it. I know Jack will say the same thing, because
we had a similar conversation about, well, I don't want to talk too much about your next project, but you've taken a similar approach, I'd say, as well, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't say anything.
Yes.
That's a man who's like, that's a man who can't say too much about it. But
Yeah. Well, I'm just with our albums, we've always kind of had like a thematic approach, and that's what we want to keep going with the next one. And I'm not gonna say anything more because I'm gonna get shouted at. I'm trying to think of how I can phrase what I'm trying to say, but I'm just gonna get shouted at. So let's move on.
But basically, the concept of what you said is a similar concept to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, passions. You start to talk about the name.
Well, this perfectly ties into it because obviously I have a 2-year-old now, nearly 3. Fucking hell, time flies. And he loves painting, and just watching him paint is just the most incredible thing, because we'll ask him, do you want to paint? Sometimes I'll be like, no. Do you want to paint? No. Do you want to paint? Yeah. So we'll get his paper out, get his little pens, whatever, and he'll just go for it, do whatever he wants. He might go up and take a break, and then he'll just walk away and he'll be like, you finished? Yeah. It might just be like a little squiggle. It might just be this whole massive colours and dots and squiggles and whatever. And I was just kind of observing him create in that way, and it was like there was no
that pretense.
There was no pretense. There was no idea of I need to please my dad, or I need to please my mum, and I need to please some person across the world who might buy a
2-year-old at nursery.
Yeah, exactly. Tough crowd. You know, I need to get this one playlisted. You know, it's like he created out of pure creation, and then when he was done, that was it. It wasn't like, could this be better? Could I have added another shade of green in this one to make it pop more? He was like, it's done. And it kind of it was like a chicken and egg thing, because I'd been writing the album prior to him being born and then growing up and starting painting, but then watching him do that kind of galvanized the idea of it for me, which was I was struggling a lot with finishing a lot of this stuff and deciding on which ones were going to make the cut, which ones I was going to sack off, whatever. And then I just thought, I'm just going to, whatever ones speak to me, that's the ones I'm going to go with. And try and put to the side the idea of having to please anyone else but myself. So it's a very self-indulgent.
As they should be, though.
Speaking to your inner child, basically.
Yeah.
Your son is a representation of that.
Exactly. Just on there writing beats, cool, I like this vibe. It might hit, it might not, I don't care. I like it, boom, it's on the album.
That was funny, actually. The word self-indulgent came up about your album. I was chatting to a couple of my mates. They're just
self-indulgent.
Yeah, it's funny. So basically, so I've got a group of mates from uni, like 3 of them. I'll shout them out: Kabir, Cal, and Devesh. Who you met Devesh? So they've all roughly started producing at the same time, all using Ableton, and we've got a group chat where basically they send me tunes, I give them feedback, blah blah blah. I'm the wrong person to ask, but yeah. And I sent them your album. I was like, this album's out, listen to it.
Sell yourself short, mate.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Did a humble thing, innit? Giving it a go.
Hold on a minute. What's going on here?
Giving it a go.
Snack of it.
Man's shopping in Selfridges every weekend. That's a humble thing.
That was off cam. But yeah, I was like, this is quite inspiring. I listened to it and I was like, you know what, actually, music making should be self-indulgent. I literally said this. I was like, music making should be self-indulgent. It's funny, they're at the stage where they've just started learning to produce. So actually, they're a bit free with it as well. Like they're doing things where it's like we have to think about, like you said, playlisting and like, is it going to bang in the club? When you first start making music, like, I just want to make a song.
This is the thing, though. You don't have to think about that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
We do, because we've been conditioned and we see the world and how it operates, and we see the TikToks and how to get on the big stages. And it's like, okay, that's the easiest way to get to that, by appeasing the crowds and doing all that stuff. And yeah, cool. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you can't. But, and maybe I wrote this album because I couldn't achieve that. I couldn't. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe on some level, at some point, that's what I really wanted, to be on the big stages, playing the big gigs, and I thought actually I'd much rather the stress that brings though. The stress and the doubt and the anxiety and the questioning yourself and having to rely on not only your own validation but the validation of others to validate your own existence as a creative entity. And I just thought, nah, along that all, man, I'm just going to do what I want to do.
I feel like you're someone who I would look at in the game and would say that you not, like, I feel like even up to this point, like before you made this album, you seem like someone who you do what you want to do, and just from that sheer like kind of will to be like to represent yourself in your own way, you've kind of actually made a success from just owning.
Yeah.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how it feels to me, having followed your journey, like, you know, the whole way through. It feels like you're pretty true to yourself. And actually, I think if I think to the Spectra Souls, the Perez's, the people that are like in the underground sort of side of this music that are actually really successful, I feel like they actually are true to themselves and do just make what they want to make.
Yeah.
And that would, the banger will just be like, on that day I wanted to make a banger, and it hit because you maybe weren't trying to tick the boxes. Maybe obviously in latter stages, you know, like in the last like few years or something, we've all started to think about that a bit more, but we didn't get to where we were by doing that because we're all old enough to have been in the game for long enough that actually we made it off our own backs doing what we wanted to do. And then since like I guess the rise of Spotify and playlisting, I guess it's kind of changed much more recently.
We're quite lucky in a way, the age we're at as well, that we kind of imagine being a music maker starting out now, given how, you know, the trend of tracks being 2 minutes long has gone, and, you know, TikTok algorithms determining what's popular. I feel like we're quite lucky that we actually skipped a lot of that out, and it's obviously now that we're established music makers, that's now a thing. But yeah, I feel like maybe we had more of a chance to be more expressive and be more ourselves when we first started making music, because none of that really existed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of my point, but when you came through and sort of made a success yourself, I think you did that before that before the shift come along. Do you know what I mean? And then we all had to start being like, shit, we need to tick this box, we need to tick this box. And it all probably got a bit to us, so maybe now you've gone full circle.
But it's still there, man. It's still, I mean, and I appreciate what you're saying, and on some level it is true. Well, it is true. But at the same time, I still have these thoughts. I still write the tunes, and I'm like, is this gonna make the new Music Friday playlist? Is this gonna, you know, all that stuff? Is this gonna be the one that people sing along to? Is it gonna go viral? You know, all of these thoughts are still there. But I'm also in an incredibly privileged position in which I don't have to rely on what I do financially to
pay the bills.
Yeah. So I can be a bit more kind of lax about it.
I've always said that having a job on the side or having another source of money probably makes you not a better creator, but it makes you, it's easier
more
to
authentic.
It's easier to make decisions just based on what you want to do. Yeah. For 100%.
It's been liberating since I've started working outside of DJing.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a very liberating experience, and slightly it's changed my mind slightly. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like
your approach, maybe.
My approach has slightly changed because I'm less reliant on gigs, so I don't have to make pledge every 6 months.
So a lot of people would be happy if you did, though, to be fair.
Yeah. But I don't think I could.
Yeah, no, to be fair. How many theorem presets are there? Do you know what I mean? Bloody hell. I'm only joking. We know you made that patch from scratch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just tying into that, I guess, you said you started writing the album before you had your kid, your son, and obviously finish it afterwards. Did you notice, and I think you maybe started touching upon it, did you notice a change in like kind of approach and mindset? I know you said about the painting thing was really inspiring, but I guess generally having a family and obviously priorities just being different, did that affect the way you were writing music and the way you were thinking about the album as well?
I think it just changes you as a person. I mean, Rich will back me up here. It just completely changes your outlook on life.
Yeah.
Having a kid, having responsibilities, having someone in your life that you know requires you in that way. You know, it kind of changed my focus, and made me more regimented about what I did. Had to be more considerate about when I was making music, when I wasn't making music. Before, I could wake up at whenever, go to studio, write a tune, come back at 6 in the morning. No, you know, it was whatever. You know, I could spend time with my wife when I was free. Now I can't do that. I have to, like, I choose to be home at 6 to do bedtime, you know, and so there's only a limited amount of time I can actually make music on the side of having a job 3 days a week, which also demands my creativity in a musical sense. So it's like I have to be very focused about it.
And it makes your decision making process better though. In some ways. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Because it's enabled me in combination with this whole concept about the painting thing. Like, it's enabled me to be less attached to things. It's like, write an idea, come up with a concept, whatever. Cool, it's good or it's not. Throw it away, carry on. Whereas before, I'd sit on tunes for years. I'd do sketches and just leave them and tinker with them and destroy them, you know. And so now it's become I'm so much quicker writing beats now.
Yeah.
I reckon if I ever do a second album, I could probably do it in a lot shorter time.
Yeah, I always thought that as well, because our first album took like over a year. Like, in terms of like the tunes writing process started years ago, but like actually like, right, the project is now the album. Yeah, that was like 18 months for sure.
I think I'm just getting more skilled at being less attached to the end result.
Is there something in it as well? So there's something I was thinking about on the way here. Like, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like your style of making music, like your actual approach to making music has become maybe slightly, it feels like really distilled now. And like even the stuff, because I know that a few of the, again, when we were in the listening party, you were talking about like, you know, this one's got no samples, I played all of this and stuff. Like, do you think because maybe you're pushing yourself a bit more on the musical side, it almost makes your music making process a bit more like
streamlined?
Yeah, streamlined, because you're just like, I'm just gonna play it all and just like do it, and I'm just gonna, I know like it's like one thing I like about the album, and it's tied to what I'm gonna say, is like the outros. Yeah, I think it's rare that people put like a 90-second outro on a drum and bass track. That like no one does it actually.
That is pure self-indulgence. I just love it.
This is what I'm saying though.
I just love it.
When I was in that group chat, I was like, this song has a 2-minute outro, and I love it. Like it's like, as a DJ, it's awful. Yeah, it's like, let the crowd sit there and listen to a 2-minute breakdown. Like, it's terrible. But from
I'm there behind that guy.
this little solo here. Yeah, for this. Yeah, like
I did this all live.
But like, genuinely, that was the bit that I found really inspiring. Because like he's supposed to put a 2-minute outro on a D&B tune. That's ridiculous. But like, and I know like, so for example, at the end of the tune with Liam Bailey, half that tune's outro, and it's just like synths, solos and stuff. Like. Yeah, like,
but you have to understand something about that stuff is that I deeply, deeply love that kind of music.
Yeah.
And so it's not purely self-indulgent. It's like I actually want to include that stuff. So I intentionally write that stuff. Like Lawn is such a massive part of my musical life. I listen to it so much, and it speaks to me on such a deep and profound level that I'm when I'm writing a tune that talks to me in that way, like the Liam track with the chords and stuff. I'm like, okay, how can I turn this into a more kind of cinematic piece of music that really captures the raw emotion of what I feel? Because with the drums, yeah, cool, it's energetic and it has its part in it. But then I want the music to be, and it's all, I'm kind of showing off as well a little bit because I want to be like, I want people to listen to it, and I want to put my ownership on that and be like, I fucking wrote this shit. I didn't just find a sample and reverse it and put a think break on it and call boom.
Every producer in drum and bass.
Yeah. Like I actually like wrote this music, and like the emotions that you're feeling or the connection you have to it is intentional, you know? And that's something I wanted, and I still do feel very passionately about putting in my music.
There's not enough of that.
No.
And I think it's like, it's important and a testament to like the project and the album. Like.
It is, but also it isn't. There are no truths to this shit, man. It's like,
you
know, people like there is a place for everything. There's a place for your 2-minute TikTok bangers, right? There's a place for your 10-minute progressive house bangers, right? And like there's a place for my shit, and I like to do that because I like to do it, and the people that write the other stuff, like, Big up.
I guess I'm like talking from a selfish perspective because I just want to hear loads more of that.
Yeah.
Because I come from a generation of like 7-minute D&B tunes, and it's like the whole musicality of the intro for me and the build up to the drop. That suspense was
Remember old Dillinger tunes?
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're basically listening to like a film soundtrack, and then it's just like fuck off.
And that's what made me fall in love with it. So the nostalgia of that and to see it done in the modern day is something that I'll always appreciate. I appreciate what you're saying. Horses for courses, different people want into different things. But from my selfish perspective, I would love to hear loads more longer, more musical D&B tunes. And I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But you've kind of found a way. I think my favorite thing about the way those tunes are put together is you've kind of found a way to do both functionality and really like impractical music in the same. Do you know what I mean? Though, like you kind of have.
That's it. That's what I tried to do. I tried to cram as much musical shit in there.
But it's beautiful.
But also being able to play it on the dance floor.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and actually, it's weird because we had a very similar conversation. Do you remember with Mike Kiss? We were talking about the idea of being more indulgent on albums and like writing that long, like 1.5 minute intro versus a 16-bar intro or whatever. And I guess in place of like having skits on your album, some of those outros kind of act as that as well, right? Because like we did the whole like interlude thing, but you kind of built it into the tune, and it's
a lot of the slower tempo stuff was there as a kind of placeholder for an interlude.
Yeah.
But then I ended up just being like, these ideas are really cool. I'm just going to flesh them out a bit, and then they turn into whole tunes. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, it's self-indulgent, but in the best way possible. Is like how I describe that. Features wise, this is an interesting one because you obviously only have 2 tunes with features, I believe, on there. Is that right?
Liam and D-Bridge and Steve.
Yeah. So, and obviously the Liam tune came out as a single. Satisfy Myself came out like a while back then. Like,
well, yeah. So that came out, and that was just a single. And then when I was putting the album together, I was like, it has to go on the album.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it just was like, fuck it.
The beauty of running your own label.
Exactly. So I can put that on the album. Yeah,
and
no
the
problem.
Steve Spacek, that was intentionally. This is an album tune, or you just wrote a tune with Darren and
just wrote a tune.
Yeah.
He hit me up. We've been chatting for, we would just chat, whatever, send each other tunes. And he just sent me a folder of samples of loops that he'd made. He's like a mad hardware guy.
He's got a back on Splice, which is pretty good.
He's just crazy. Yeah. His studio is just nuts. But anyway, he sent me a pack of all these loops, and in it was the main chord progression.
So it's really discordant as well. It's
so
like,
weird.
It's eerie, yeah.
The way it just falls off at the end into the kind of weird, it doesn't resolve itself properly.
Yeah.
That's like classic D.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
It's like,
this is me.
It's unsettling is how I describe it. It's like an unsettling chord progression.
But also, Darren was such a massive source of inspiration for me.
Of course.
Not only in my own stuff, but in all the Ivy Lab stuff that I wrote. I was trying to channel him into that music. The True Romance, Last Straw, like all this bingo stuff, all of his own Exit stuff, all of that stuff. It had such a moodiness, the musicality, it was melancholy, but it was slightly playful, and it was everything that I liked. And so, when he sent me all this stuff, I was just like, I was gassed. And loaded up the sample, and then wrote a tune around it. And I tried to get as close to True Romance as I could.
Yeah, you said that on the thing. And I didn't clock it before. It made so much sense.
I know, you can hear it in the break.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to it in the car the first time I heard the album. And I heard that, I was like, oh, that sounds like True. And then looked and was like, featuring D.
I was like, how close can I get without it being a par,
Yeah.
And even the breakdown in the middle,
that little vocal loop,
which I tied to the vocal loop in the intro of True Romance, and it came together very quickly, and then it sat like that for a long time, just with no vocal on it. I tried different samples and whatnot, and then he just kind of very casually was like, "Oh, send it to my brother."
Yes, I was going to say Steve Spacek is his brother, isn't it? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a pretty serious don.
In there.
Yeah. You also sang on the album.
I did.
On
track one,
yeah, opening tune. What was that like?
That was fun. I'm always singing in the studio. I'm always top lining stuff. But I've never had confidence in my own voice. And it's very processed, obviously. But I had just done a session with someone, and I had the SM7 on the stand right next to me, and I was making that tune, and I was just like, actually,
So you had someone else originally to sing on that song.
No. It was for another session,
Right.
and then I started writing that beat, and I had a splice sample, which is it's like some really low sung kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I was like singing the lyrics, and then I was like, fuck it, hit record. If I played you the original, it's just.
The thing is, I think we spoke about it on here before. Like, I've tried so many times. I've got auto tune, and even with auto tune, I can't make it work. So.
I had to do some madness to it.
Yeah. I've been there.
Do you know what? I've got more control over my pitch if I sing falsetto. So I sang falsetto, put this meta tune thing on it, whatever, which is it's very robotic, and then loads of. I kind of was trying to channel Jai Paul, Flume-esque type vibe, and I was like, this isn't bad. I kind of like this. And I was like, fuck it.
I feel like everyone's got a key they can pull off, man. I know you're saying that, but like, don't think so?
I honestly, like, it pains me that I can't sing at all, because how many vocal samples do we use in our music? Like, if I could just sing, it would save so much time.
But bro, a lot of people can't sing.
Yeah.
And they still sing on their tracks.
True.
And it just becomes part of the track.
Yeah, true. But that's like a very romantic, like Jimi Hendrix didn't have a great voice type thing. Like, mine is genuinely, it would ruin the track. Like, it's not even up to the bit. Like,
there's an objective truth to this,
like,
and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's awful. Tom, slightly better than me. His voice is slightly better, so maybe we get him to sing. But
it is fun, like, trying to do it. Like, I sang a bit on my album. I can't really sing, but like,
yeah, lessons though, right?
I had some lessons a while back, yeah, and actually it really did improve stuff, but I haven't done it for a while, but can sing to like a very basic sort of standard.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what people can do in like production and stuff, and make it work to a point where it's kind of like a really bad example would be like, you know, when like Eminem does those like kind of cringy choruses and stuff that I'm not actually, although I'm a big fan, I'm really fond of him.
That doesn't work.
I'm not. That's like the bit of it
What was
that
that
I'm not too
lullaby
into.
tune? What was the tune?
Oh no, don't go down that. Yeah, I mean, there's some proper booky ones in there.
Yeah.
But as an example, it's like that's how I think when I sing. It's like you're kind of just like getting away with it, and because it's your own track, you can kind of just vibe it out, and I think it works all right.
I was when I was recording it in my headphones, and had the auto tune on the channel and was monitoring it back, and then took all the monitoring off, and I'm just going, Christ, how do they do it?
It does help to have the effects on when you're actually recording it.
And do you know what? It's two verses or it's a chorus just repeated twice. I tried to do a second chorus, just at least with a bit of variation, and I just couldn't do it.
Ran out of stage.
I was like, nah, this is it. I was like channeling echoes, like, it's done. Doesn't need a second chorus. Finished.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool though, man. Like, it kind of ties together that whole, just like you creating like lots of pieces of that album from your own hands or voice in this example as well. And obviously you've got like kind of the whole down tempo hip hop thing going on, which obviously we know, if anyone's followed your career for a while, we know that you dabble in multiple styles, multiple genres. Was there ever a point where you thought maybe you would do like a feature with like a rapper or anything like that?
Yeah,
I think the last tune,
but
I could hear someone on that.
It's got to be in keeping with like the soulful vibe, I guess. So
I sent it to Sampha.
Oh.
Just tried it.
Just what, the actual
the last track.
Oh right, yeah. Joke.
Yeah,
John, you snuffed it out.
Yeah, sent it to my boy. Maybe you know him, Sampha.
what happened there? Then?
Nothing. Well, I just DM'd him. I was like, hey man, I wrote this track. I don't know if you like it. And it was
I've had a few of them DMs in my side.
You've absolutely got to try it.
You've got to try it.
You've absolutely got to try it.
I'm just trying to be like standard people and I just get aired.
But like, what's the worst that could happen?
Valid.
What's the best that can happen? It's like, oh, this is amazing. Yes,
featuring Sampha.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, then you'll be getting streams.
What was that? Was that like a Instagram inbox? Yeah.
Do you know, I just done a session with JD Reid, and he knows so many people, so I was like, I could. Yeah, let me see. And I messaged him. I was like, I sent it to Sampha, and he's like, oh yeah, cool. Good luck.
No chance.
But yeah, in answer to the question, no rappers, no. Singers, I tried to get other singers involved. The track with Liam Bailey was originally supposed to have Big Pig on it.
I saw that. That'd have been crazy.
And my boy was sick. We arranged a session. She was supposed to come to my studio. My boy was sick. I had to take him to hospital. And so I had to cancel. And then she just got mad busy, and we were never able to.
I would like to hear
reschedule
that one, I love her, man.
But now she's just gone on a tangent now.
Yeah, her trajectory's been crazy.
Yeah,
because she does that whole like half Spanish, half English.
It's crazy, man. Crazy, she's so cool.
She's wicked. I think does her brother make all of her beats as well?
I'm not sure.
I think it's her brother, Mac Weather. I think his name is.
Because Jordan JD Reid made some stuff for her. That's how I got the link up.
Yeah.
Because I was sending a lot of this stuff to him, being like, "Who do you reckon would be good on this stuff?" And so he linked me up with Jess, and unfortunately that never happened. But
yeah, what's the link with you and JD Reid again? You go back a while, don't you?
Yeah, man. So when I used to DJ on Rinse back in the day, he was the broadcast assistant at Rinse.
Yeah.
Mental.
And he would be like, "Oh, can I send you some tunes?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." Had no idea that was JD Reid, because I used to play JD Reid tunes in my sets. And then JD Reid was playing at Strong Rooms in Dalston, and I bought a ticket and went to go, and he was there, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he was like, "I'm playing." And I was like, "Is it? What's your DJ?" He's like, "JD Reid." I was like,
that's actually a bit mad.
He's a sick
he's a
humble guy. Working a
he's mad. He's got man. We're actually working on a project together. It's very
sick.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you were making some D&B with him as well.
Yeah, we've written a couple of things, man.
Nice.
Some kind of moody synth wave. Written a drum and bass track.
Sick.
He's insane.
Yeah, his set as well at the night we did in Manchester.
So good,
man. He's a wicked.
He can draw on so many different levels.
Yeah.
He draws all the 140 stuff. He's got all the 140 to 160. Like everything he does is all that kind of bok type kind of style. Just very cool. It's right up my street.
Yeah.
He's also a lovely guy. Yeah.
Anything cool's up my street.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got 2 kids, so he kind of we connected on that kind of dad life level as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good. He's a good boy.
Nice. So obviously this album came out on your own label, Gemini. 3 Geminis in the room, actually.
Come on.
Go on.
Yeah, and then the star sign girlies would hate that, because apparently that's the one of the worst. So I don't know if you guys have been told this, but I've been
Two-faced.
told several times.
Great lovers though.
Yeah, that's my bar. That's what I try and say on the dating apps. I'm like, yeah, but best lovers though, innit?
They get onto that so quickly, man. I swear. It's like, yeah, I've been in a room once where someone went round and asked a bunch of lads the star sign, and I was last, and I was just anticipating like, oh man, this is so long. And literally, like all these different responses.
Capricorn, then, yeah, all them things.
And then I come through, it's like,
Aquarius.
oh no, you're smoking my spliff, darling. Fuck off. Like, what's this? Jokes, but yeah.
I think it goes in the bottom 2. I know for a fact. Yeah, it's Gemini, then it's Scorpio. They're the 2
that get the bad
rep,
yeah.
But clearly
Gemini's a vibes though. No,
but this is the thing.
Do you know what I think? In the modern day, I don't think that's actually necessarily true.
Okay,
like
I don't think any of this is necessarily true.
Jack, the voice of reason. Yeah, Jack, the voice of reason.
My tattoo on the back of my leg's pointless.
I'm an Aries.
So
don't know what that means.
That's what an Aries would say, though.
Yeah. Oh no,
such an Aries thing to say that.
Oh my days! I did not see this guy down this route. Fantastic.
Aries is the ram, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your moon sign though?
Actually no. Moon is the. I'm a Leo rising, so I know. Whoops.
I'm Scorpio moon.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my missus, who's super into this, like, that's a really good mix, and that's actually people.
She has to say that.
No, but people
She's
that are more
gassing you up, bro.
probably. But I actually think people that are more deeply into it will be like, they actually know the way that that they mix together, and that gives you this. And
no, it really is, though, isn't it? Mushrooms.
Yeah,
that's what it really is. Yeah. That's what it really. They had it all mixes together and determines your personality.
Quartz,
yeah,
crystal in the corner.
I'm fully down for it being like mushroom related to it. That's a win with my book.
Yeah, no, I got someone did my birth chart at like 3 a.m. at a house party once.
That's always where it happens.
Yeah. It was like, so where were you born? And
do you know what time you were born?
I had to text my mum.
This is it. You've seen the meme, right? It's like the text message. It's like, Mum, what time was I born? And then she replies, stay away from her.
Oh no, that was legitimately. My mum didn't do that bit, but I legitimately had to text my mum like, what time was I born? So Leo rising apparently.
Hold on, who's asking you this?
It was Delaney.
So okay. So it's not because I've only ever been asked that by like someone I'm actually someone I'm like dating, like going out with. Like if someone's asked me that, like in another, obviously that's calm. Delaney,
it's a friend
vibe. Yeah, but
do you know Eveson at all?
The producer,
yeah.
He lives off this stuff.
I really.
He properly uses it to his advantage.
To the point where, like, if he heard a star sign he didn't like, he'd be like, I can't chat to you.
I don't know on that level,
more so
but
like gas people.
He can definitely like he can go, oh, you're an Aries, right? And then just like completely
and make something up on the spot.
Yeah,
and
fair.
Just,
like, he's just man's got game.
I feel like that's what everyone does, though, isn't it? I think everyone that's into that stuff is just there. What is waffle, isn't it? Like, yeah. Sorry to any listeners who are deeply connected, deeply connected to the stars and that. But so anyway, your label's called Gemini.
I did name my label after it.
Two Gemini.
Fucking hell. They cancel each other out.
I mean, but it brands well, doesn't it? It looks cool. It looks cool in the branding.
It's the twins as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on. Do
you know what? It was more the duality of my creativeness.
Oh, okay.
My existence. I'm a crime fighter at night.
You could have been a lot worse things. That's all right. We'll take that one.
It's more the duality of my creativeness, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's not just one thing.
Like the light and the dark and all that.
Yeah. And looks nice on Photoshop.
It does look very nice. And I guess it also is to tie into that as well as a platform for you to be able to just release anything under the Halogenix name that's just you feel like making at the time, right?
Yeah. So it's not just drum bass, it's not just electronic music, it can be anything.
Yeah, 'cause one of your biggest singles off that's been tune with Strats, right? Pray for the Dead, which was 140. Yeah. Massive tune. And how have you found it? Like, here comes the obvious question. How is life as a label owner and like having more, I guess you've got complete control of what your output is now, right?
Yeah.
And how it's presented and all of that. And has that been a blessing? Has it been a curse?
Both.
Yeah.
Naturally, I think. Makes you more accountable to yourself. You know, you can't just write an album and then give it to the label and be like, cool, let me know when the essential mix is happening. You know? It's like, you know, everything, you have to do everything yourself, promote it yourself, come up with the concepts and the targets and what you want to do. Obviously, I've brought people in to help me with that stuff, but all of that is instigated by me. Like the scheduling, when it's coming out, how it's coming out, the singles. Like, you know, I work with this guy Ben who does all my PR, and so collaborating with him as well on doing all that stuff. But obviously, the last, you know, I have the last word on it. So, and I'm like very indecisive. I can be quite indecisive because I'm a perfectionist and I need everything to be so. It's like I'll decide on something and then I'll be like, actually no. So the artwork was originally going to be different, and then I'd sent it all to Ben and he'd sent out a press release and I was like, I've changed the artwork, and he was like, fuck you.
It's because you're a Gemini, mate.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
Yeah, the other version of you woke up one day was like, I don't like this.
So it's good and it's difficult. You know, when I was releasing with Critical, submit masters, boom.
And just bash Badger over the head with everything.
Literally.
Yeah.
Badger would send me all the assets. I'd send him what I wanted to do for the artwork. He'd sort all that out.
I was going to say, I suppose one thing that's always been good with you is your artwork's always been really distinctive. And it's always, even from like label to label, I guess you've obviously been working with your mates at Bertie, who does a lot of those sick illustrations. But yeah, even when I think about like the All Blue album or EP cover.
That was Bertie as well.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you can clearly see how that ties to like, you know, the
Friends.
Yeah, and like Independent and all that stuff, all those sick pieces of artwork. So I guess that's always been a big thing for you, like the visual representation anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's as much, not as much, but it's definitely a very strong part of it, how it's represented visually. You know, it's all very well making, like putting your heart and soul into a piece of music and then just like giving it away to someone who has no ties or no connection to you, who creates some
generic piece of
art, which is the first thing that people see. You know, unless they're specifically looking for you, if you're trying to get new fans, the first thing they see is the artwork, and unless it grabs them, and that's, you know, something that I enjoy doing is making striking artwork because I feel it fits with the music.
And when you were kind of working with other labels, so Metalheads, we spoke about it on the first podcast, actually. In fact, we didn't even acknowledge the fact that you're the first
I know.
repeat guest we've had on the podcast. We just jumped straight in.
It's because we're doing the intro at the end this time.
Yes, we did the intro at the end. Yeah, to be fair. That's why.
John, please, can I come back?
Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. Yes, when you're working with like Metalheads, and obviously you had like Goldie and like going through your tunes, and obviously Critical, you got like Kaz. Obviously, I don't know how involved the A&R process has been with you.
I'm very difficult to work with as an artist because I'm very opinionated.
Yeah,
and I know what I want.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm also very indecisive, so I can appear that I don't know what I want. But it all comes from a sense of being very passionate about my view. You know, being what's the word? Just wanting to be involved in every facet of everything.
Yeah.
Which I think makes my art better. So, you know, sometimes it rubs people out the wrong way. But
so how has it been kind of like, how have you replaced that kind of those difficult conversations that you'd have with like a label owner or an A&R person now that you're out on your own?
I have to rely on other people. You know, my wife was a massive help with this album. Huge. I didn't know what I was going to do for the artwork till about 2 weeks before the first single came out.
Nice.
I was like, wanted to use Bertie, but you know, Bertie, the process of Bertie's artwork takes a long time, and so I would have had to delay things. And because I'm so, I couldn't bring myself to even thinking about the artwork because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was like, fuck. I was just doing something else, distracting myself, procrastinating, doing other bits. And it was like, oh my God, this single's out in like 2-3 weeks. I still don't have artwork for it. And that was when Irma was like, use Ekka's paintings. I was like, of course.
It was right there.
Of course, it was literally right there. And so she's been a massive help with that. And she's not in this world at all. She's very separate. And so she can be very objective on these things. So I'll play her music or I'll talk to her about decisions and she'll just give me a very objective perspective on it. And I say she's not in this world. She's not in drum and bass. She's in arts and she's a great...
She loves music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's you know, she was a event programmer. That was her career before we had Ekka. And so she's in this world enough to know what she's talking about.
Yeah, from like a kind of execution point of view.
Yeah. So it's been good to have her. You know, just because I don't release on Critical doesn't mean that I can't bell Kaz up and be like, "Yo, what do you think about this?"
Yeah.
Because he's been a great source of support for me. You know, and my peers, you, Jack, Alex.
You did send me some tunes. Yeah, that was yeah.
So
you're welcome, man. Yeah.
Cheers.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair. You had to give him that one, didn't you?
Clip that one.
It's my ode to John.
Yeah, man. I'll take the 10% cut there. It's fun.
Yeah.
But like real talk, like we talk about it all the time. Like there's still this real importance about having a community around you, innit, of like music makers that you trust. Like trust it is basically, innit?
Yeah.
That's
and
a huge part of it.
It's it's difficult to find the people that you resonate with. I think it's a very small pool. And I think that can be a bad thing sometimes. It gets quite echo chambery. Yeah. You know, if I just send my tunes to you and Jack, I think you're maybe more like Jack. The mix is a bit shit.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean,
it's a bit pokey in the top end.
He gives me the same feedback on every mix.
Yeah.
Like, smiley face, like highs, lows, not enough mids every time. Yeah.
But anyway, my point is that community is very good. Having a broad community, I think. Like I sent a lot of the slow tempo bits to Jordan, and he was a good kind of someone to send.
Yeah, I feel like that's a motto for life in general. Is if you can avoid like just being stuck in your own echo chamber that you created, you're going to be better off. Yeah, like in all walks of life, really. Because I don't know. I feel like echo chambers are a very easy thing to fall down the rabbit hole of these days. Social media.
I was going to say, but there's a whole part of the conversation to come on to about that. Yeah. Just kind of expanding on that community idea as well. And obviously with Gemini, you did your first, we've done a couple of label nights, but you did your first actual like event that's all Gemini. I want to say like November, was it?
Yeah,
October, November,
late last year.
and kind of again that felt like a very like a nice beginning of a community coming together as well, because you were very the night had an ethos, which I thought was really nice. Actually, it's funny because we played that show in Sheffield a couple of weeks ago.
We were saying a similar thing.
Yeah, which like, by the way, that's the first time, weirdest, the first time I ever played in Sheffield. Wicked, like sound system culture, like the club was tiny, like 150 people, had a void in there, it sounded wicked.
What?
And did no phones, it was sick.
I think it's
Sheffield
catching on, man.
banged.
Yeah.
I've played Sheffield so many times. It banged.
Do you remember we did Sheffield years ago?
Was that that'd have been Displaced probably?
I don't remember.
Was it?
Didn't we drive together?
Yeah. Did I drive?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was
Years
Sheffield.
ago. Fuck, what was it?
That's so long ago. I think that's Displace. I think that's early days of Displace. Mate, I could be wrong. It's tricky, isn't it? Was it like a warehouse vibe?
No, do you know what it was? It was on that hill. It was on that old what the fuck was it called?
Was it
me,
definitely
you,
Sheffield?
Yeah, it was me, you and Dave from Spectral Soul.
Yeah, it was. It was Dryad Works.
Dryad.
Or Hope Works. One
Dryad
of the two.
Works.
Yeah, it's Displace.
Is that them?
Yeah, they're my mates. Yeah.
That sound system is mad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've heard a lot
Bang.
about that.
No, they
sound
brought
system.
in one. The last time I played it, they brought in the
Sinai?
Sinai one.
Yeah,
Oh my
of course.
god, that
That's-
was a bit too much.
That's the one that
it was
if you
insane.
talk to Stu SP and you ask him, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure if I ask Stu, I was like, what's the best sound system in
Sinai.
the UK?
Sinai, yeah.
I'm about 90% sure he'll say Sinai sound. Yeah, Sheffield sound.
That was
Sheffield
actually
sound system
bonkers.
culture's mental.
Yeah.
Like I was
sick.
vibrating across the 100 stage.
It can be a little bit too much, that
Yeah.
one, but like not really, because like when's it ever too much?
When you can't
It's not,
see.
is it?
You can't
When your
see.
actual eyes are vibrating like your skull.
Jack's little giggle is like he knows me way too well.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell, Rich, mate, read it. I have now, like you said.
Yeah.
Daughter or son changes you.
Yeah, there you go, man. And yeah, big up wearing earplugs as well. I've clocked that in the last 2 years. It's really good.
You never worn earplugs.
Right, I was
It's crazy.
I was
Isn't
just
it?
raw dogging systems rather my ears.
Nah.
It was horrible.
That void, actually, my ears were murked because I can't MC with them in. It's
Yeah.
just not. It just takes away too much of the vibe and like the positioning of everything. I went away and I was like, oh, I got away with one. 2 days later, I was like having this like sharp pain.
Bro,
like,
I
in my
can't do
ear.
it anymore, man.
Yeah, but as an MC with like one monitor on the floor in front of you, which don't get me wrong, I could hear without the earplugs in, it was actually pretty calm. But like honestly, if you put them in, just bit of a two deads out the vibe. You ain't got like the two like I can DJ with them in. Like
Right.
happily,
Yeah.
it's different ballgame. When you've got two monitors either side and you're controlling the booth.
Yeah.
Like, but if you haven't got access to that and then you're sort of in out, it's all a bit. It's difficult as an MC to keep them in all the time. I'm pretty sure most MCs I chat to have a similar.
I'm
problem
really
with that.
impressed how you managed to sneak in a MC moan zone into this podcast.
Sorry, it wasn't actually a moan
Completely,
zone.
it was a little bit.
I feel like it was all right.
MC. Like, managed to get it in.
Yeah, I get that little that slight
Can't-
angle. Yeah, but
Can't
I
you just
wasn't-
put in like sevens or something?
I've got the least, whatever the ACS least like dB takeaway is, and even still, man,
Still.
still not ideal. I would like to go in ears. I was
just
talking to
literally gonna
Makis
say, what
about
about
it.
in-ears?
Yeah, I was talking to Emily about it. She wears like in ears. Obviously, for singers, 100%.
Yeah,
that
makes
is like a
sense.
level, like a game changer because. If you
can actually
get
hear the
monitor
tune.
setup where like I'm moan zoning about the monitor setup and you're a singer, you're trying to hit a fucking note. Oh my days, like that is like worst case scenario for sure. So yeah, in ears, I think
Who was telling me they were DJing with in-ears the other day?
Bare people do now. I
really
think Amani does, right? Does he?
No.
that's interesting.
I know quite a few people do. Yeah, I've seen it a lot on the old socials.
But how does that work then? Just like you just plug it into the mixer and
Yeah, you literally just plug it because most mixers have a 3.5. You can just go straight in.
yeah.
Just having headphones in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Let's just
what-
put it out, like AirPod, like iPhone headphones and similar vibe.
I played
Yeah.
at Phonox before it was Phonox Plan B back in the day.
Plan B.
And forgot my headphones and had a jack and had my iPhone headphones and DJ'd with the white.
It's kind of a vibe that I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Yeah,
They were fucked after.
Yeah, I bet,
They
yeah.
were dead.
that was just Friday. But yeah, just coming back to your first night.
Yeah.
Uh,
No phones.
that was
Come on.
sick, man. I really enjoyed that night. Cool venue as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. What was the because I remember you did a whole like. What was nice is in the build up to it, you kind of posted about what it was about, kind of the ethos, and you kind of really like prepared people for it, which I thought was quite nice. And actually, for the most part, people stuck to it as well.
Yeah.
I maybe saw like 2 or 3 phones.
The sound engineer.
Well, yeah,
was the only guy with his phone out the whole night.
Was one of them, yeah. He actually was.
He was recorded JD Reid set. He's like, this is sick.
Setting the tone.
Like, did you know this is a no phones night?
That's no joke.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I think about this, it's like, if I'm being honest, I think I maybe resent it slightly because I'm not part of that wave. You know, I'm not part of that like social media fan zone kind of TikTok kind of world.
Different generation.
Well, yes, and the music I write, I think just doesn't lend itself to it, and I kind of just I found myself getting a bit annoyed by it, and my annoyance is my annoyance. It's like, it's not because I think it's wrong or bad or whatever. I was just like, ugh. You know, I write good music. I wish millions of people could listen to it. You know, and so I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go full anti and see if it resonates, and it did, and it was cool. Gonna do another one in hopefully September. In Fox.
It does help the vibe. Like you mentioned the Sheffield one. There was how many people at that dance?
About 100.
And like how popping off and vibes was that?
Yeah, people were dancing.
And it's only you and me, so like
Speak for yourself, man. I'm a pretty good DJ,
I
man.
Get one in there. I'll take myself down with him. So
All you did was you just tried to bring me down by bringing yourself down. I'm not really with that.
Any means necessary, mate.
I hear it.
Yeah.
But, this is the guy that messaged me like, we should play more together again. Like, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
mate.
I'm baiting you out. This guy has been begging me. Like, come on, we need to play sets again.
Wow.
Begging me, bro.
You weren't saying the same thing to me, though.
No, it was a 6 set, man. we got a connection. There's no question about it.
Yeah, come on. Don't help me on
Next
the podcast.
On the John Rich Agony Aunt podcast.
Promoters, book us together. But Phonox,
yeah,
that's gonna
hopefully.
Be sick. We always talk about it on this podcast, but we probably need to stop bigging up Phonox, so we don't get any money from them. So, but we love that club.
Or play there very often.
My favourite set that I've ever played in my life was at Phonox. The one that big back to back we did.
Yeah,
it was just.
So where John got on the mic at the end.
I love that you're on the floor for starters.
Yeah,
Then you're not on a stage. I love that you're in that booth, even though you feel slightly disconnected. I love it. Sound system's banging, low ceilings, red lights. Like what more is there to fucking want?
It's like the essence of club culture in the UK.
The essence of old school club culture encompassed in a modern day club for sure.
Yeah.
Even the monitor setup for an MC's rubbish. So like, that literally like exactly how it should be.
Here he is.
The only thing is, actually, that's probably a good thing about that club. The green room is literally like this big. Like, the green room, it's a cupboard. It's a cupboard.
I've had some good times in that green room.
But it does mean that actually, as a it does mean as a DJ, you're actually more than likely going to be out in the actual club enjoying the music as well.
Not just that, it means everyone just piles into the booth, and the booth is
just popping off. Yeah,
it's like you're trying to get through.
But that's
like,
the vibe. It
is the vibe. That's why that set was so special. Like that
Yeah.
back to back we all did back in the day, because you had all your mates with you.
I like,
and, like,
if you have people
all the
behind
crew.
you, smacking
That's
you on the
it.
shoulder.
The back slapper.
You get
it's where that started, isn't it? The
Yeah.
tradition of just the pair of us, just like bruised back.
just
Bruised back the morning after.
whoa. Saucy. The morning after as well was crazy. Wow.
My back's a bit bruised from last night.
That was crazy.
Can barely stand up straight.
Jeez.
Keep it coming.
He's got big hands as well, to be fair. So it really was brilliant.
Yeah, I do.
That set was it was a vibe. Like,
but it's the club. It's the setting, and it's
also the fact there's not like loads of room, so like everyone who's in Phonox is in the dance. You're either in the smoking area, you're in the dance.
Yeah,
like, there's no like.
You've still got the downstairs bit.
But I don't actually think I've ever been. I don't think I've only ever been to the toilet downstairs.
That used to be a venue in and of itself.
In itself, wasn't it? Yeah.
When it was Plan B, 100, I remember
I think they do still do some nights down there, but for most nights it's just a one.
Everyone's just upstairs.
Yeah.
It's probably like to do with like capacity, though, isn't it? Like, because like selling out like a club like that with the lineup you can put on there, it rarely probably warrants a room 2. Do you know what I mean? Room 2s, I feel like actually in smaller venues, room 2s were always a thing back in the day. They're less of a thing these days, aren't they? Because tickets, money.
Where was that place in Vauxhall that was like 5 rooms?
Oh, fire. And Lightbox.
I quite liked that. Like,
but they're
That's
like,
the first time I ever heard my tune out live was at Fire.
Was it?
What tune?
What?
Rockabye.
And what night?
Right.
Hardware.
Sick.
Yeah.
Mad.
Gas was there with all my friends.
Do you remember the exit night there?
No.
The exit night there, that iconic one, was pure chaos. I've never been to somewhere that was so busy. It was like legendary night. I can't remember if it was like 10 or 15 years.
In its heyday.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. We had our mate like Dan, who's like disabled, and was like carrying him through like on our backs and shit. It was mega. It was so sick. Yeah, it was crazy.
There's another venue in Vauxhall, isn't there?
That's all the combined.
That was like the jump up, like not jump up, but like the sort of like One Nation-y kind of more like nice.
Fire's the one. It's in the Arches, right?
Yeah, so it's all combined. So
Like the
Lightbox, Fire, and there's like another club that's all like part of the same thing. Yeah. Lightbox is the one with the tunnel and all the like LEDs and that.
I ain't seen anything there for a while.
There used to be quite a lot of drum and bass nights, but I don't think they're doing it now. But yeah, back to the label. That's a good segue though. Future plans. Are we going to be expanding?
Yeah.
The artist roster
Next year.
Okay.
Excellent.
I did sign a bunch of stuff, and then realised that I was getting a bit ahead of myself, and so I had to have some awkward conversations with people.
Slightly tricky conversations.
Not awkward, but just like, you know, I don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd signed a bunch of stuff from some new kids, and so I think they were very excited. So I felt a bit bad about letting them down. But I said to them, "It's nothing to do with the demos. The demos are wicked. I still play them out. I'm just not ready to kind of go down that lane just yet." Because I was thinking, you know, do I want to go down that road of being like a label boss and nurturing the talent and
yeah.
Or
it's a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility.
It's terrifying.
And it's not, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not like it's not like I don't have enough stuff on my plate already.
Yeah. You already got a kid.
Yeah, I already got a kid.
Need like
job.
15 others.
Other children to worry about, yeah.
Once you got enrolled in there and things like become a bit more second nature with it, then it's like, so obviously you had a thought, went away, was like... I
think I'm doing this for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Rather than actually wanting to do it because I have an idea of what I want to try and build, you know. But I'm definitely, I have plans to expand it. Yeah,
I guess it's quite nice as well in a way because obviously like some of your closest friends in this scene have gone and done that as well. So like, not like you've got a blueprint, but you've got some people there that you can.
And I've done it before.
Yeah, you
know, I've done it before with the Ivy Lab label.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, and all that. Yeah,
I worked a lot on that. But I want to do this my way, you know, and do it how I want to do it, kind of curate it how I want to curate it, and just do it because the music I like is there. So yeah, it's good, man. And I'm still trying to figure out how it's going to look, and I've approached some people. Probably put out a VA towards the end of the year or early next year. But it's all going to be very music led, you know. So if there's a tune I like and it's unsigned, then I'll take it.
Nice. Putting out a call, yeah?
Yeah.
And now you're going to get blown up with real rubbish music being sent to you. This is the problem now. You're going to be getting the most mid-demo sent to you. I think it's really
about our fan base, John.
Yeah.
B-Tech drum and bass.
Bare mid-producers on our fan base. I'm joking, of course. We did talk about doing some feedback on the Patreon, didn't we? I'm kind of regretting that a little bit, but I won't put it out there yet. But I just did. So yeah, maybe one day we'll do a Patreon tier where we listen to our music.
The hole's just getting dug deeper and deeper.
I'm going to start talking about that now. There's loads more things I wanted to ask you. Conscious that we're going to be a very, very, very long podcast, which is fine, to be honest. But I did want to get onto the social media thing, and in particular with you, I feel like you're very forwards and not going backwards with your opinion on certain things, which I think a lot of people respect you for. I certainly do. And obviously with the world and the state that it's in right now, there's a lot of things to talk about. Why is it such a big part? Well, I guess let me rephrase that question. Why do you take the kind of active choice to do that?
Because I feel that I have an obligation to with a platform. Having a kid, especially with seeing what's going on out there, it's harrowing, man. It's horrible. And so if I can be even a microscopic part of a kind of voice of change, then I think that I have a responsibility to do that as an artist, especially in a form of art and a culture that has been historically tied to giving voice to people who are repressed. And so I feel like I'd be doing myself and the culture I was part of a disservice by not saying something. I also gave up on the idea that I had something to lose by saying it, you know, which I've felt for a long time. I felt it would hurt my reputation, or
I think a lot of people feel like that.
I get it. I get it.
Fear is a big part of it.
I get it, man. Yeah. It's terrifying because like you post an opinion and then you've made a stand.
Yeah.
Someone will come either trolling or with the opposite opinion, and we're not. I don't think we're very well versed as a society in how to navigate those kind of tricky situations because it's so polarized. You listen to the rhetoric and the types of conversations people are having online, in the news, whatever. It's all so like,
well, by design,
wrong,
right?
You're wrong. Yeah,
by design.
Wrong, no, you're
full
like,
circle echo chamber.
Yeah.
We're back there again.
And so I'm just like I try and figure out what my opinion is, what my view is, and I'm not. It's gonna sound a bit cliche. I don't know. Like, I'm not pro or anti any side. I'm just like, innocent people dying is just never a good thing.
The problem is in social media, I think, and I say it's a lot, it's like there's very little room for nuance in opinions.
Yeah.
Like you said, and I think this is by design, right? And not to kind of stray into the world of not conspiracies, but like ultimately a divided population is less dangerous to a power, like
a ruling elite.
Essentially. So, you know, if you can force people to choose a side, you split the voter base, the voter base and all that stuff. Like, it's obviously easier. You're safe. Your power's safe. So there's very little room for nuance, because I totally agree. It's like, it's very difficult to say I'm 100% for this and I'm 100% for that. There's always going to be a bit of room for, well, you know, I understand these certain points from the opposition or whatever, but none of that all subtlety gets lost in Twitter, especially when you've got like 140 characters. I think they've doubled it to 280 now, but you know, with a limited character count and a limited amount of like space and time to really give your opinion properly.
A lot of the stuff I do now is just repost, just to try and because like when, you know, a lot of this stuff I got onto by seeing it, you know, and then obviously not taking it for word, but just like looking into it and doing research and seeing what information I could find out about it. But like, it's an important part of the social network. Yeah, being a network, right? Putting the message out there, and I know 100% I'm just like pro humanity. Yeah, that's it. It's not like pro this person or that government or this clan or whatever. It's just like, when I see dead kids on the timeline, bro, I need to say something.
It's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to deny that as well, isn't it? Really, like the evidence is pretty fucking.
I can't just sit there and be silent and just be like, oh well, you know, if I say something, then maybe, you know, maybe someone's not going to buy my record or come to my show or whatever. I'm like, I would give up everything that I do if it meant that shit would not happen.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm also aware that I'm in an incredibly privileged position to be able to have that luxury because this shit doesn't really impact me on a fundamental level. I'm not in danger, right? I'm able to support myself and my family financially. I have my health. I'm in a relatively safe area in the world, you know.
Big up North London.
Yeah. Innit? Hackney, come on. Not a war zone, not all the time. And so I'm able to say this stuff without fear of persecution or repercussion. So I acknowledge that, you know, I can be up there being like a freedom fighter, but, you know, I do it from the comfort of my heated apartment.
I remember seeing some like comments and stuff, and I just don't understand. And it's happened to me as well because I've posted like stuff, and I just don't understand why somebody thinks they have the right to tell you what you should be doing with a platform that you've like built.
As in,
I
like,
find that really
stick to music.
Stick to music.
I hate that
Do
one.
you know what?
They don't. I mean, like people.
That's what I mean.
People that think that you, as a creative, someone that they like, their art that you consume, they think that they have the right to tell you that you can't voice your opinion. Fuck off! Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Unfollow me. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah, yeah.
consuming
To be
my
honest,
shit.
it's a
Fuck
good
off.
way.
I
It's a
don't
good way
want
of
to,
weeding out
like-
the fans you don't want anyway.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
But I don't. What I mean is like I'd love to get in the like psyche of that person to be like, how do you think you have the right to even?
I think
it's
these
mad.
people are so uncomfortable with themselves that seeing other people speak up about topics, they can't understand or take responsibility.
We need to change your mic.
They can't understand or accept responsibility for their own lives, right? So they see other people taking a stand, whatever, and they need to shit on it.
Yeah, I think there's another thing. I think that whole like polarity of thought by design thing comes into it as well, because some people have so like we have to remember we're very strongly opinionated in one way, and people that have the opposite and opposing view feel the same way we do, but in the opposite side. So it's very difficult.
I don't know, man. I don't think I could ever accept someone's point of view that was anti-humanity.
No, I agree, but they're kind of missing the humanity point though.
That perpetuated a viewpoint that actively sought to negatively impact people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever accept that if I was able to converse with that person and really have an honest conversation with them where we were able to dissect each other's point of views, you know, because I don't think anybody, if you get to the root of it, wants anybody to wants kids to be dead.
Yeah, if you put like political and religious alignments to one side for a second, basically what you're saying. Yeah, no, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. Some people can't separate.
I think people are so
Some people can't separate
Some
that.
people are so lost in their
Indoctrinated,
hate
yeah.
and
Yeah.
indoctrinated and just so far gone that this is, you know, it's just a kind of the pain and the suffering is a byproduct of their
that belief system as well. Yeah, and it's like desensitized to it as well. Yeah, it's
it worries me, man. It worries me how desensitized I've become to it. You know, it kind of started with the Ukraine-Russia thing, seeing all the shit on the timeline and having to kind of take a break from it just to not go nuts, you know, because seeing some of that stuff is you know, you're not supposed to see that shit.
Nah, but if you're on Twitter for like a day, you see everything.
Yeah,
it is nuts.
But then I'd get deeply impacted by it. But then kind of tell myself like, by not being engaged with it, you're then just ignorant.
Ignorance, yeah, burying your head in the sand.
But I feel like even some people that are engaged on one particular side, it's like almost like ignorance is bliss. They're not like facing up to the reality of the situation that's actually going on.
Yeah.
Because they can't, because that reality.
What's that thing you said though? The thing you said about, you know, being comfortable in a country, a first world country, with when you've got money and you live in a city and you can go and get a Starbucks at any time of day or whatever.
Bun Starbucks.
It's kind of Bun Starbucks. Yeah, Bun Starbucks. Yeah, it's but it's
Unless they
hard
want to sponsor us. Hi, Starbucks.
It's
Give us your money.
That kind of disconnect makes it easier to disconnect from that side of it as well, is what I'm trying to say, basically. Like, because I'm not there in the Middle East or in Ukraine or whatever, you know, I'm not on the front line, I'm not seeing this stuff firsthand, it's extremely easy for me to take an objective view of things.
So one of my closest friends, her name's Ali, she works for a company, well, she used to work for a company called Aid International or Refugees International, big humanitarian organization in the States. And she has like a PhD in conflict resolution and has been to Central African Republic and to all over Africa, all over the Middle East, working with humanitarian organizations, the UN, governments to try and resolve conflict, right? And when all this Gaza stuff kicked off, like she's tried to get into Gaza, but she wasn't let in. She's been to the West Bank, she's been to Jerusalem, like seen all the Iron Dome rockets and all that stuff like that. And she now is doing a PhD on her work in the Central African Republic. And when I asked her why she stopped going to the Middle East, she was just like, I had to accept that there's nothing that I can do there. like it's actually futile for me to do anything, and it's so deeply upsetting. She's like, I cry every day because it's like it's so horrible what goes out there. So I feel like I have a kind of insight into the people that are trying to affect change out there, but it's just nigh on impossible for it to happen.
It's literally been going on for so long. Like the amount of times it was called, like how long, like they were like saying how long the conflict had been going on for. Even that, I just find like a massive par.
Crazy.
It's just like ridiculous. They can even like be like, oh, this conflict started
70 years ago.
Yeah, basically.
It's just like crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's this. You heard about the rapper, the Iranian rapper who's been. There's protests all over London the last couple of days, but yeah, there's an Iranian rapper who's been sentenced to death for his songs undermine the. They spark protests that undermine criticisms of the US. And I think that just it speaks.
He's been sentenced to death in Iran or in the States?
In Iran,
right.
Yeah.
Because he's
right, because he was
rapping against who?
Sorry.
Nah.
Let me get this article up.
Also, Starbucks is one of the brands that people are like powering off, aren't they?
Have you seen? You know what? That actually has worked though, because the share prices of some of these companies have actually dropped quite a lot. So actually, you know what?
It
Rightfully
works.
so. Like,
It works,
that
man.
shit.
It works. It really does. Obviously, I'm just boycotting McDonald's on a slimming thing, innit? So
It's funny because I was on the way here and I was like, I remember last time like we got nuggets delivered halfway through the
Oh, yeah. Shit.
I was like, not this time.
You have to write a status about that later,
Not
mate.
this time, yeah. I do in no way endorse McDonald's. Fuck McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, they all send money to the IDF.
yeah, it's all a bit mad. But yeah, there's actually an app where you can scan the barcode of a product and it'll tell you if it's conflict free or not.
Amazing. What a sick app.
Yeah, which is a great idea.
I mean, while we're on the subject, Kim Yan Law he's done a lot of posts recently, hasn't he, about the Democratic Republic of Congo.
What happened? That's everything as well, yeah.
Because his like heritage, I think, is...
Well, it's Congolese. I think he's Kenyan, isn't he?
Maybe
not Kenyan.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, the stuff going on in Congo is crazy.
And it's been going on for years. It's just like we've exploited...
The Western media can only pick one conflict at a time to make everyone feel bad about.
Said to me the other day, because like sometimes this stuff will kind of weigh heavy on my head, you know what I mean? And on some level, it's good to be engaged. It's good to try and use your platform to try and make people aware and stuff like that. But also, it's everywhere, man. And like, if you want to be free of this stuff, like you need to go and build a shack in the woods and like farm chickens, like because there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
From the materials in your iPhone to the shoes you wear on your feet, like someone is being exploited. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. On that cheery note, but obviously I wanted to make sure we had that part of the conversation. I know it's a big part of the.
I think it's important, man.
I do think it's important. And I appreciate you asking it.
Yeah, I think like the same reason that you use your platform, like you're not using it, but like you're expressing your views on your platform is because you feel like it's your duty to. Yeah. Same reason, we're here with a platform with 200 views on YouTube.
Because all honestly, all you have to do is change one mind.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you never know where that's going to go.
It's true.
I listen to what would it have been? I listened to Bacteria by Ed Rush and Optical, and now this is my life.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean,
yeah,
it's like, and I heard that CD by a chance because my brother bought it. That he could have not gone out that day and not bought that CD, and I would have been a banker.
What's that butterfly effect?
Yeah.
Hold tight.
Easy. Also, as well, like from a position of like a rapper, it's like this is like what rap was inherently built on. It was like it was people expressing their oppression.
Music,
like, it was
art,
like it gave a voice.
Exactly.
That's why when these people come out the woodwork, it's like this is what art has always been about. Like art is always the antithesis of like the antithesis of art is to like be against these systems and these like. It's madness, man. Like
I'll tell you the funniest one. When we did that tune with Degs, like the kind of that anti-racism song. Yeah. So we basically did a song, which we raised like loads of money for like loads of like charities. Young Hearts.
Hearts, yeah.
The comments were like, on that song, which was a song by like two black artists about like racism on a genre that was made by black people, effectively. They were like, just keep politics out of it. I'm like, it's like such a sweet irony to what you just said. Yeah, that one It's almost like you done it on purpose. It's actually quite fun if you have, to be fair, like well played.
Fucking white.
Enjoy that
people
void you're living in your
triggered,
head.
Yeah, it's fucking it's crazy.
Fucking just.
Do you just say fucking white people?
White people getting triggered, man.
Nah, we love white people in this podcast, man.
No,
Come on.
man, obviously, but fucking hell, man. Those people just get triggered. It's like, so honestly, man.
Yeah, white
People
European
don't
dons are the
believe,
funniest, man.
Oh, anyway, let's not fucking open that can of worms. I'll be here all day
Let's
getting
change
angry at them
subject.
people.
Let's change subject. So,
Oh, man, bass.
basically, we normally do the things you've been on before, so we did the quick fire questions. So instead today, what I've done is I've asked a group. I'm in a group chat of like 50 producers, and I've
heard about this.
Yeah, you've heard about this group chat, famous group chat
Enter
run by Pete Overview.
It's quite jokes.
I basically asked them for some questions for you.
Right.
A lot of Halogenix fans in there. A lot of guys that have been inspired by you. So yeah, I've asked them for some questions, and we'll do these ones. So Wings has asked a couple of questions. Obviously, Wings is just trying to get the source. He was like, "How do you source samples? Was being a trained musician a big part of the Halogenix sound?"
How do I source samples? Just look.
Use my eyes. Yeah,
Use
fair.
my ears. I listen to a lot of music. A lot of my stuff is inspired by R&B and hip hop. So because I listen to a lot of R&B and hip hop, so then I'll go digging on where they sampled it from. I used who sampled a lot. You know, one of my best discoveries was because there's that Kanye track, Real Friends. And I was like, this beat is so hard. Found where the sample was from. Opened up a complete gold mine of sample material. So I just have given away the source. Fuck.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just revealed it very specifically as well.
Very specifically. And then just being a trained musician, yeah, massively.
Yeah, I guess we were talking about earlier, right? The fact that you've just started playing a load. I mean, you've always done it, but you've really gone in on just playing stuff.
I mean, you guys are mad musical, right? So it's like, you know, your stuff.
Harry definitely was.
But you can hear it. So
yeah,
it makes a big impact. Being able to tell what's in key and also what's not in key, and like how to manipulate that and do stuff that's outside of the box. Like a comment that I saw a lot on the D Bridge tune was like, this is out of key, and it's like, well, technically, yeah, but it sounds good, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a D-Bridge feature.
Isn't it?
What did you expect?
It's funny because
almost in a way, I was just going to say, almost in a way, sometimes being like a trained, you know, they get them real highly trained classical and jazz dons. They're actually sometimes more restricted in what they write because it doesn't, don't follow rules exactly. It can be hard for their brains to like break out of that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess more classical than jazz. Jazz is kind of about like breaking out. And stuff, but
yeah, I'm all about that jazz. Just like doing the little kind of like oof. When you see that, when you get those little moments where you're the screw face when you're doing a chord, you're like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
When you throw
the
that
seventh. Oh yeah, mate.
What about the 11th?
Oh,
We're getting
and the
spicy.
ninth. Oh,
There we go.
Diminished inverted seventh.
Oh no, you done too much there.
augmented fourth.
Augmented,
That's out my comfort zone.
But so I when D-Bridge had sent the tune to Steve Spacek and sent the vocals back to me, I said to Darren, I was like, some of this seems a bit out of key, and he was like, I'm not going to question my brother when it comes to key. And I was like,
fair.
Cool.
Yeah, very fair.
Yeah.
By the way, I've mentioned it before. I've been reading that Jay Dilla book. I didn't realize that Dilla had done tunes with Steve Spacek. Had done tunes with Dilla.
Yeah, Beat Spacek, man.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Man's
that
a
guy,
ledge.
That guy's. That book's mad, by the way. So many. You're reading that book, and so many names pop up, like quartets in that book, like just bare people that you wouldn't expect to be in that book. It's crazy. Okay, Pete Overview. Serious question, he said. Because he did ask a silly one before. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember either.
I was like, can you get Lawrence to send me an album? He sent his email address for the album. That was what it was.
Read out the email.
Yeah, this is info at Overview Music.
Halogenix.bandcamp.com.
I actually said
love
that
you,
as well,
Pete.
to be fair. What was the best and hardest aspects of self-releasing an album? I guess we kind of really spoke about it. But yeah. Hardest bit about doing the album?
It's more specifically, yeah,
Hardest bit.
of like self-releasing it.
Oh, man, it's all fucking hard.
I guess it was the indecisiveness bit you were talking about, right? With the artwork and all that.
Actually deciding whether or not this was something I wanted to do.
Yeah. Wing's second question: what are your main influences outside D&B? We said hip hop and R&B. Go-to artists for daily listening, workout / commute.
The Larry June album has been on repeat ever since it came out. The one with The Alchemist.
Yeah, unbelievable album.
Love that album.
Is that workout or commute?
Just that's more commute.
It's not workout music. That's not workout music.
Workout. I don't really listen to music when I work out.
You know, it's like hearing the sound of the metal hit the floor.
Just yeah.
I'm all about the breath.
Hearing my muscles
Just tear.
Larry June. Trying to think. God.
This is what we always do when we're doing what we're listening to. And we get scrolls for the Spotify.
I was already thinking,
Linkin Park just dropped a new track.
What?
Yeah, bro.
How?
Idols has shot a new album as well.
18 years old. They just finally decided to release it. It's
That's
good.
nice.
It's like,
Didn't one of the guys die from Linkin Park? The main guy.
I mean, yeah.
Chester. Yeah, Chester. That was
Yeah,
it.
it's been.
I revisited Frank Ocean Blonde recently because that is just a very
Amazing album.
very, very good album. Blue Lips by.
You know what's funny actually about, you know, you were saying about like just the pure will to create and like not have, that's Frank Ocean in a nutshell, isn't it? Like if you listen to his interviews and that, like he basically just stopped at the peak of his career because he was like, I don't really want to write music at the moment.
Bro, I had this conversation with Dave Jenkins from One More Thing,
Yeah.
And I had said this exact same thing. During COVID, I was watching tennis a lot because it had the Grand Slam, the women's Grand Slam, right? And you had Ashley Barty, who's an Australian tennis player, and she was a cricket player when she won like mad tournaments as an Australian cricket player, and then was like, I'm done with cricket, gonna go tennis, trained for years, whatever, won the Grand Slam, and then just dipped.
Yes, I
like,
kind of rate that, to be honest, man.
I got it, cool, done.
Yeah.
Gonna go do something
dipped.
else. Yeah, she just dipped, bro.
To be fair, I've not seen her name for ages, so that makes
I was just thinking that actually, but that's a bit mad.
She won the Grand Slam, and then she was like,
Didn't know that she'd done that. Yeah,
I rate that.
you're a
so
tennis
hard.
bro as well, isn't it?
Because one thing that I do not want to do is be what I'm doing kind of at a point where I'm like just kind of struggling, you know, and kind of end up just feeling, I don't know, just feeling lost with it all. You know?
Once the magic goes and the kind of, not a love for it, but like the kind of excitement side of it and all that goes.
I think I'll always write music, but in terms of
being a DJ, I feel exactly the same.
Being a DJ and kind of continuing and my artistic pursuits, like I think I want to just bow out a good time. So yeah, the Frank Ocean, just like, yeah, cool.
I'm excited for your
Released the
Instagram.
best album in the world and then just dipped out.
I'm excited for your Instagram post in 3 years where you're like, Halogenix is dead, and then like, long live Ren or something. Like a new alias is just like a Ren.
And then 6 months later, come back to.
Are you still doing Laudel stuff?
No.
Because I was going to ask about the label. Like, would you release stuff like that on Gemini as well?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
But it's just be on the Halogenix there, right?
Yeah.
But you just so you're just going to all just be Halogenix now.
Yeah, Laudel.
Nice.
Laudel was a product of confusion, really.
Okay.
It was post Ivy Lab. It was.
Wasn't it before Ivy Lab?
The name was before
I swear
Ivy Lab.
you said you sent me like a Laudel track, like a hip hop thing, like when we first met that I was going to work on and stuff.
That was
Laudel.
That was a way for me to differentiate.
Yeah.
The Halogenix and Ivy Lab stuff. I just would name it Laudel.
Fair.
But then after the Ivy Lab split, I had all of that music, and Halogenix had, up to that point, had been purely drum and bass. And I've released that Deep News project, and it was kind of 50-50 half-time drum and bass, and it kind of didn't really do what I wanted to do. So I was just like, right, I need to separate the two. So Laudel was out in the world in that regards. But then now I play all that stuff in my sets anyway, so it all makes sense to put it under as
No, I agree.
Yeah,
just one.
I think people also.
Sense.
I think that you establish yourself early enough as a guy that does multi-tempo, multi-genre.
Yeah,
a bit like with Alex as well, same thing. Like people just know you guys for just doing that, so it's fine. It's completely safe to do that. So I think that's quite a nice position to be in, to be honest.
But he was doing, what was it, Art 101?
Yeah, he did a few.
Is that obviously I know he's at Shades, but has he had gone through a similar process to you and just been like, I'm just going to do it? Yeah. You may as well just like.
Yeah.
I guess we're in a sort of era of where D&B and the halftime thing, it all just did get kind of mashed together. So then you may as well just like.
You're experiencing the same thing now with 140. And Garage, like it's all people playing.
Shout out Garage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all
playing Garage in their sets and that. It's boring. Hate it.
But it's all now just it's very much accepted.
It's just music now, which I like, man.
Yeah, I like it too.
I love that.
Yeah.
But the 140 thing, everyone is doing it now, aren't they? The 140 thing a little bit, yeah. Everyone's doing the 140.
It's gonna be techno next.
Yeah, imagine.
Foggle and techno.
Techno was first.
Foggle and techno. No, as in like people like.
I mean, like as being a producer, but I guess that was separate alias as well.
We've already got 4/4 though, haven't we, in drum and bass? I mean,
yeah.
We don't need any more of that. Okay, so
bring back halftime.
Slater, that was a thread in that group chat the other day. It was about just the halftime era was beautiful. Yeah. There was that tune, Work for Nothing, Decimal Bass.
Yeah. I need to take responsibility, and I need to give myself the credit for that tune because I played it on the boat at Outlook, and that's when it went fucking off.
I got well excited though. I was just like, wait a second, didn't we not know who Decimal Bass was?
No.
I was going to be like, what?
I just tell the world, I am Decimal Bass.
I was like,
I am Burial.
I was like, Lawrence, I know you are an eclectic producer, but mate, no chance.
That's one half of Annex, isn't it? One half of Annex.
The Burial.
It's Decimal Bass and Kenichi.
Kenichi and Decimal Bass.
That's their Annex, yeah.
That's so funny.
No, I mean, obviously that tune did bits, but I remember Decimal Bass sent it to me before we did the 2020 boat Outlook, and me, Gove, and Jay were in the hotel doing tunes, and I was like, I've got to play this tune, and they were like, please don't play this tune. Like, this is way too kind of energetic, because our stuff was all Timberland and wonky, and and I played it, and it just was like just
Man,
duppied the dance.
One of my favourite tunes in that era was the Cameron O'Boy 2023. I used to rinse that so hard. So sick, man. All right, last couple. Slater, Connor asked, who's your favourite Roman Empire? Roman Emperor?
Can't say I have one.
Yeah. I don't really know any.
Ties in back to the whole humanity thing.
Caesar,
shout out Caesar.
It's the only one I know.
Love a salad.
Yeah.
I thought that's going against your morals.
Yeah, they were
the earlier conversation.
They were kind of sketchy dudes, weren't they? And there's the Greeks. Caesar. Some of them are. They're all sketchy.
We're all sketchy, mate.
Dudes.
We're all sketchy.
What jokes question?
Azzy FM, 2 questions. What do you think the biggest myth in music / drum and bass is? Yeah, that's what this question I can read.
Biggest myth.
Yeah.
Biggest myth.
What do you think the biggest? What do you think is the biggest myth in music and drum and bass industry? Said specifically as well. Or to flip it, what's one thing maybe that you thought you had to do back in the day that you realised now is completely ridiculous? Or I guess in a similar tip.
I'll happily use sync on the decks.
What's interesting actually? Do you follow that Fish Octagon guy?
Yeah.
So he
played one of my tunes.
I saw, So I was going. He played like Lana India. So So I was going through his Instagram. I love his page, but I think it's sick. Have you seen this guy? It's like this small,
you
balding guy.
Yeah,
it's that guy. So he's obviously like an old school head, like been doing vinyl DJs since like the early 90s.
I watched the female content. It's hard, amazing.
But I saw a clip.
The dancing, the dressing gown,
like lasagna, whatever. Like
I feel like
Weetabix.
the passion.
Yeah,
you can feel.
But he's like a head though. He knows tunes.
Yeah.
But so he posted the clip he did. He played at Hidden in Manchester, and all the comments were like, "Oh, but why are you using sync on the decks?" And I was just like, you follow this guy. You know he's a vinyl DJ. And you know he can mix. And you're like what? Yeah. And he replied to the comment. He was like the crowd don't care. Like they don't care if I'm using sync. They just want to hear the tunes. And it was just funny that
if anyone ever asks you if you use sync, you're like, do you have a Splice account, bro?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, literally facts. Isn't it?
Have you ever used a sample?
Yeah.
I remember when I put out Independent, I won't name names, but someone very kind of well respected in the drum and bass community messaged me and was like, I know where you got the sample for Independent from. And I was like, that's nice. He was like, yeah, I've been uninspired at times too. And I was like, wow, that is such a par. Fuck you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking
Okay.
hell.
And then he was like, no, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like, it's always good. And I was like, what, have you never, I was like, bro, like, trust me, if I, anyway, whatever. I was like, you of all people, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, you've made your name off of using something, so like, shut your mouth.
We need some
Kyle
context,
does
Lawrence.
well,
We need some context,
Yeah.
mate.
Off cam.
Yeah, £10
That's £10
We'll give you a
Patreon.
percentage.
You'll get the name.
Let's go.
And then last question, just to kind of sum up the duality of this podcast. We spoke about conflicts worldwide. Now I'm going to ask you, what is in your Tesco meal deal? Also from Azzy FM.
I don't shop at Tesco, bro.
Yeah, he got a patty and bun on the way here, man. I was
What's your
thinking-
meal deal? You got to
What's
have
my
a
meal deal? All right. The posh ham and cheese, whatever it is, the ham, hock and cheese.
Yep.
The
It's a Sainsbury's one, isn't it?
yeah, Sainsbury's thing.
Jack the fucking
I know.
the meal deal
The
connoisseur.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know that one? If you
The
don't know that one, you're
the
slipping.
steak hula hoops.
Oh,
Okay.
steak
Oh,
hula,
right,
not the
okay, right, yeah.
McCoy's.
Nah, the
bit of
steak
a
hula
rogue one.
hoops
Interesting.
and a Diet Coke.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm actually a hoisin duck wrap guy in the meal deal.
Can't eat
Can't
It's a
cucumber.
classy choice. I
Can't eat
think.
cucumber.
Wait,
You
why
can't do
can't you eat
cucumber.
cucumber?
Can't eat, I just can't do it, bro.
Not even like an allergy.
Too
thing.
watery.
It's
It's not an allergy. It's
Smell-
just the texture. Yeah.
Really?
Something about
I get it.
I
though. I
can
do
Since I
get
was a
it.
understand
kid.
that.
You know what? When you put the pro
Ever
tip
since I was a
though,
I'm
kid.
here for it. Like cucumber, but like
if you
yeah.
put
pro
it-
tip
I'm
with
like-
cucumber, you got to scrape the middle out.
Oh,
man.
mate, I feel like you're missing out.
If you put it in a salad,
Well,
it's
Although
nice.
Yeah, you got
I
it.
can have a gin and tonic with a slice of cucumber in it. I like the flavour,
Yeah.
but if I find a bit in the food, it just
You're not a fan. Oh,
it just has
wow.
this automatic response. Right?
Every
feel
now
like
and
that's
then, like there's certain foods in the world where you hear someone doesn't like him, it just makes you really sad for that person.
I mean,
Like, oh, it's a shame.
cucumber's
you
not
can't
one of
enjoy
them,
that
though.
thing. No,
Nah, cucumber's not one of them. I can live without cucumber,
No,
like,
I like
yeah.
cucumber, man.
No, I like it, but I
Cucumbers
could,
are- yeah,
I could
cucumbers
live
are
without
right.
it though.
But like, it's kind of mad because one of my favourite spots to get delivery from is this Turkish spot, Gökyüzü, which is on Green Lane.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, but-
Cock.
And they give you this
Outside the
salad.
cock.
Outside the cock.
Cock's a vibe.
Yeah.
We do love Gökyüzü.
We've all lived around that area.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
If you
honestly,
don't know about
3
Cock, you're
times a
living
week,
off-
bro. Like, just,
Really?
yeah, it's a mad thing. Yeah, I rinse it.
Number
I
one
rinse it.
customer.
Alex was on that vibe as well,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Chicken shish, just
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
done.
yeah. It's done.
But the
Just like my
salad
dinner
is
for
so nice with the pickled cabbage,
Yeah.
the carrots, but then they put bare cucumber in it, and so I'm just like,
picking it out
Yeah,
one piece at a
I'm
time.
like, what am I, 5?
Can you not add to the notes?
No, I can, but they can't make a whole salad. Then it'll just be it's
yeah.
never the same.
Yeah, fair. There you go.
I mean, I used to
I feel
get-
like mushrooms is another food that I will never understand, but texture wise, people are like can't do mushrooms.
No, I do understand. I love mushrooms.
I love-
Helen won't eat them. She never has, never will, and I get why. It's the
Yeah.
spongy,
Nah, I can't.
rubbery
get it.
texture
Yeah.
of them. I
It's the
understand.
meat
what
of
it's
the
when you
vegetable world for me. That's what I like.
Slime.
Oh, mushrooms are
slime
the
when they're
legit,
cooked in
the
sauce. I
greatest
understand
It
why
is
people don't
texture.
like
It's
them.
100%
Yeah.
texture.
I love them. I get it.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, look, we got an insight into not only the meal deal there, but we also got a bit of
Anti-cucumber.
insight into your kebab order.
Did it?
Turkey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gökyüzü, hang tight.
I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up this episode. Really, it's metaphoric and poetic in some ways. Not. I was trying to put a spin on it. I can't.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, big
First
love,
repeat
dude.
guest.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Passions out now. I'm doing your shameless plug for you. All platforms. Vinyl's out already, or
No, vinyl's coming in about 4 to 6 weeks.
Vinyl's coming 6 weeks to get the pre-orders in.
Yeah,
And then be on the lookout for the next event.
yeah,
And Phonox will be there.
yeah.
Yes, we.
Well, he'll be booked. He won't
What?
be there. You'll be playing somewhere in the world. Like,
I
let's
hope
be
not.
real. Let's be real. You'll
I'd like
be.
to go.
Yeah.
You probably
If
will
you
be
are
there.
free, you should definitely come because it's
Yeah.
Phonox and it's
I'm not going to not. If I am free, I'm not coming. Of course, I'm
True.
coming.
true.
Don't
He
need
will.
to
He will.
persuade me.
He's a man of his word.
Yeah.
Trying to get you on it. So
Try and get me on it. Chat to the agent. See what see what Michelle says.
can't afford me.
Try shamelessly plug me with him.
Yeah.
They come as a package.
Take
But
Rich
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
He's got
take
no-
Rich.
He's got no bookings. Please.
So
things to look it up.
Lawrence's shameless plug is actually just you two plugging each other for a booking.
That's the most Eamon Brother podcast thing that's ever happened.
Come on.
Me
I'm
and
always-
So your album's out. Can I get a booking?
Yeah, I'm always on the grind, bro.
It's only reason you're here, mate. Sorry.
Just to elevate my career further. Come on. We need to get in that studio session as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll check the calendar.
Check the calendar, yeah. Thank you.
I don't know when I'm free, but
Oh, right.
I've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for
really
having me.
enjoyed that.
Big love, dude.
Big ups, man.
Thank you.
Bye.